Hey everybody, how's it going? It's the Daily Shooter, and today we're going to talk about how California gun owners are being doxxed by their own state. Now, this is something we've talked about in the past. This is AB 173. Now, the thing that's changed here is that AB 173 was signed back in September, and people are asking, when does this take effect? Well, essentially, it takes effect now, so let's talk about it. Now, before we get started, if you're not a member of the FPC, please consider becoming one. They are a fantastic organization who's actually putting the work on the ground, and they're getting results. So if you are somebody out there and you're looking for a way to help preserve your rights, but you just don't know what to do, just become a member of the FPC. They use that membership and that donation, anything that you give to them, to help further protect our rights. So that's a great way to get involved, and just being a member is being part of the community. So again, consider becoming a member of the FPC. Now, with that being said, AB 173, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about it. I've made videos about this in the past. You can always refer back to those. But essentially what AB 173 seeks to do is it seeks to take all the information that you put on your 4473, your background check at the time of purchase. It seeks to take all of that information, which was really only supposed to be collected by the California Department of Justice for law enforcement purposes, and allows it to be disseminated to a bunch of different scholarly groups. So if it's a accredited school, if it's a college or university that studies certain things, or if it's a nonprofit that wants to study the information, it will take all that information. So your driver's license or ID number, your address, your date of birth, basically all of your pertinent information, and it takes that information and it hands it out to whatever group meets their qualifications. So it's really a violation of people's privacy, because again, it takes that information that was only supposed to be used for law enforcement purposes by the DOJ and gives it out to pretty much any group that meets those qualifications that wants to research them. And so people can take all of your information and gather it, compile it, put it into a database, and research it for probably the purposes of creating more gun control bills down the road. That's more than likely what it's going to be used for. But again, it's going to have all your information that at the time when you filled out your information on that 4473, when it says it's only going to be used for that purpose, it takes that information and uses it for other purposes. So again, it's a violation of privacy, and your information is basically being sent out to multiple groups, colleges, universities, research groups. It could even be given to every town. It can be given to the Brady campaign or Mom's Demand. It can be given to all those groups because they're nonprofits. And as a nonprofit, which technically researches these types of things, they fit under that qualification. And so those people who you don't want having your information will have your information. Okay, so when can California officially start doxing you? Well, they could start doxing you as early as 2 weeks ago, back on January 1st of 2022. There was actually two bills. There was 173 and there was SB 715. Both of those bills had to be signed by the governor prior to January 1st of 2022. If one or the other bill hadn't had been signed, the other bill would not have been able to take effect. However, of course, Newsom signed both bills back in late September, so that means that January 1st, 2022 has come and gone, and they could start doxing your information as soon as they feel fit to. Now, again, this is retroactive. So if you lived in California 5 years ago and you've moved out, or myself, I lived there 3 years ago and moved out. If you lived there and moved out, it doesn't matter. It's retroactive. Any information that was given to the DOJ, any registration, any of those 4473s, all that information that was given to the DOJ prior to you even leaving the state is still going to be collected and given out for the purposes of research. So again, it's retroactive. Now, there is a lawsuit that was already filed to try and stop this. It's a violation of the Second Amendment. It's a violation of the 14th Amendment, people's due process, their right to privacy. Essentially, it's also, in my opinion, a breach of contract, because when you fill out that information, you gave them their information. You gave them that information with the clear and concise understanding based off of the print that was on that paperwork at the time that it was only going to be used for law enforcement purposes, and now that's been completely wiped away without your consent. And now it's being, given away to other people. So again, you can see that there's a lot of different violations of your rights that are happening here, but it's retroactive. They're going to dox all of that information, and hopefully this lawsuit that was filed can maybe put a stop on it, or at least put a stay on it until, you know, there's further outcome of the case so that people's information isn't given out. But California, if they would like to, can start giving that information out now, according to everything I read. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe there's a stipulation in there that says that it's not going to take effect till another date, but I've read both bills all the way through, and I don't see a date that extends past January 1st of 2022. So it's just absolutely terrible what California is doing. There's, I'm sure, several different end games here. One is probably to keep people from, you know, going through the process and filling out their 4473 and going through a background check to begin with, and basically stopping them from practicing their rights because they don't want to give their information out to these different groups. And so they've kind of put a stop to some people who might have been on the fence about getting into it. And then there's also the research side of it, which could be used again to create more bills in the future. So this one is absolutely terrible, just like everything else that seems to be coming out of California when it comes to people's, you know, rights, liberties, and freedoms. So I just want to let you guys know that, and you know, give you a little bit more information on it. I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all very much for the support, and you have a great day.